invite Bill as our historian to speak a lot. And Alice and Bill have a lot of history, and so he'll share some of that with us.
Oh, that's for sure.
And you know, this is one of those days when you're happy and sad. You're happy for Alice, for retirement, for all the hard work she did. Then you're sad because you're not working with her anymore. But she's got her new home. That's exciting. And I know she's got new memories that she's going to build there. And I know she's going to stay in touch with us. Today we're here to dedicate the council chamber to Alice. And I think that's just totally fitting because she played such a vital role in the success of our city by herding the cats of city council. She taught us a lot, all of us. She was always somebody that we could sit down with and talk to and share our thoughts, and she could give us some guidance. And that guidance was greatly appreciated. Just like most men, we can always accredit the great things we've done by the great women that have stood with us. I've got a great wife, but then I also had a great friend, and have a great friend of Alice. She's made me a better councilman and prepared me to be a better mayor. So those are things that I really greatly appreciate, and I will always remember you. So, with that, Bill, if you want to come up, step up, because I can't hold it back.
First of all, congratulations to Alice. This is very well deserved, and didn't get to see you at your retirement. I know things with this COVID stuff was all so crazy, but I was thinking about you guys all the time. It's fitting that this room be named after Alice for all the hours that she put in this room. This is not the original design. This is the Alice design. And so the first one was the 1970s design. Rust, gold, orange. It was ugly as hell. But it was that 70s color that we all loved. And then, after I became city manager, we remodeled it to what Alice called the Holiday Inn lobby. Mark McDaniel's wife, Cindy, came in and she remodeled it, and we had green everywhere. And how I like green. Green's the city's color. Alice despised it from the moment it was finished. She had to spend all that time
I
here.
thought Alice picked those colors. I never said anything.
No, but how long did it last? 20
A long time.
You looked at it for 20 years.
And so Alice finally came to me and said, I want to change it again. And I had the same response that I always have to things like that. Let me chew on it. And I did for I don't know how many years. And then she finally got this. So this design is Alice's, and it really makes the building great. Now, Alice came to us. She was very young. Actually, so was I. You were still in grade school, I think. But she came to us very young. And when I first interviewed here, Bonnie was the city manager secretary, and she left. And so it was Maureen when I came here and started working, and Maureen left, and then Mr. Mack hired Alice. And I thought, this is great. I mean, I don't know her well, but you know, we will over time. We hit it off pretty quick, and she was hoping to stay a long time, but she didn't realize when she interviewed, she was expecting this beautiful child. And that didn't sit well with Mr. McLean, but she made such an impression that, and worked so hard, that she left an impression on both of us. So when this beautiful child was born, she went home. She took care of her. It took a while, but Mr. Mack wanted her to come back and kept pestering her. Now, at first, I did not know this.
About 10 months.
Are you ready to come back? I think was his phrase.
Doesn't your checkbook, doesn't your pocketbook need
There
a
you
check
go.
in it?
And
how
so-
he asked me to come back.
And so eventually, she did. And from that point forward, it was 35 years that we worked together straight.
Yeah, 1 year, and then I left, and then I came back for 35. So
That's right.
Total 36, but 35 years.
That's right. And so she did a tremendous job. She was Mr. McLean's secretary. She helped me a little bit. I was in the office that she ultimately had as the assistant city manager, became the city secretary's office. When Mr. Mack decided to retire back in 1991, in February, then there was no question that I was going to keep Alice as the secretary, because she and I developed a great relationship. Seeing this beautiful child, she was always running around City Hall. So if this little one needs to run around, it just fits the mold. We had all these wonderful children running around City Hall, and I just loved it. That was the difference between Mac and me. Mac wanted quiet. He wanted to hear typewriters, and that was it. And he also wanted people to be where they were supposed to be. So what did he used to do when you'd been gone too long?
He put a can of spray adhesive in my chair.
So she would stay put. She didn't. The other thing that was funny is that when Alice was here in her first stint with us, and then the second, I'd always hear her laughing on the phone. I thought, who in the world? Finally, the other ladies told me she's talking to her husband. I said, what a tremendous relationship. Either she thinks he's just hilarious all the time, or she's after something. But this relationship of theirs is something that the rest of us can model our lives around, because they are so close. And it was just a lot of fun. What makes them such a wonderful couple is you want to emulate the things that they do. They love each other so deeply, and that's been terrific. So after Mr. Mack left, things changed a little bit. One of the things was Mack ruled with an iron fist, or actually a velvet fist. Wonderful fellow, but if he made a decision, he made a decision. And oftentimes, we didn't know what was going on until he told us what was going to happen. We said, yes, sir. With me, I wanted people's opinions. Alice was very reluctant in the beginning to give me opinions. Seriously. Unfortunately, I created a monster. Because for the rest of the 35 years, I couldn't get her not to give me her opinion. I'm sorry, Gary. It was my fault. And she would tell me whether I wanted to know or not. And I knew if she came into my office and hit that door so it would shut, I go, oh God, what did I do this time? So we saw a lot of changes throughout the years. So she served as my secretary for a while, but it was more, just like I did with all my staff, it was more of a family, more of a team approach that we came from. And so I decided I needed more help on the budget and other things. I wanted to create, then we called it the administrative assistant position. Now it's called assistant to the city manager. Alice was the first one to ever hold that position. I had great hopes that she could get on a city manager track, if you would. And so I moved her over there, but I had this problem. My city secretaries kept coming and going. And I remember after Karen, I think it was, that left.
Karen left.
I just threw up my hands. I had this one as my secretary at the time. And I said, Alice, you want to be city secretary? She says, I don't know a thing about it. And I said, well, that doesn't stop a lot of people, so why don't you give it a try? Well, she went in, found all the certifications and everything, and just did an absolutely wonderful job. Kim moved over to the administrative assistant position and did a tremendous job, and that's when we got Dixie. And that team with Modesto, it was amazing. It was a great team. And we did a lot of things. And over the years, we just accomplished an awful lot. And again, I like to bounce ideas off of people, but ultimately I'd make the decisions. She learned that after a while. That I'd take her opinion, but that doesn't mean I'd take her opinion. And so,
Filing cabinets.
Never again.
but I will know that a lot of people would go, they say, go ask Alice, she'll get it. No, my favorite phrase, because one I borrowed from Mr. Mack was, I'll chew on it. I got that phrase from Mr. Mack.
No.
And so for many years, I would chew on things, and we'll go from there. So this is a wonderful, wonderful thing for you. When Gerald called and suggested all of this, I thought it was a terrific idea, because again, you lived an awful lot of your life in this room. And Gary served as on several of our committees over the years, but economic development, we spent a lot of time in this room. Spent a lot of time during storms. Yeah. And I remember in 2005, no, it was 2008, is when it was Ike. Terrible storm. Alice had been going through some health issues, bless her heart. And the other ladies had really stepped up to fill the shoes when she was gone. So she'd been in the hospital up in Houston. So I'm sitting in the Emergency Operations Center, which is the police training room now. And we were doing our thing. Mayor Sipple was sitting next to me, I was there, and I looked up and there's Alice with IV tubes hanging out of her arms and stuff. I'm going, what in? She wanted to come see us, and she had checked, she didn't even tell them, she just left, right?
I told one of the nurses, and she said, well, you have to be back by a certain time or you're AWOL and checked out. So I wanted to come get my car too, so that, because we knew the hurricane was coming here. So Gary drove up, got me, we came back, I got my car, a few important papers, and they were calling me as we were driving back.
Well, you could see Gary's face was, this is not a good idea. And so we said, howdy, but go back to the hospital. There's things hanging out of her, and I'm just going, oh, geez. But that's the kind of dedication this woman has. Always will. God comes first with her, love of her family, and then the love of this city family that we have. Just absolutely tremendous. We had so many discussions over the years. Alice thought I hated women, which was pretty true at the time.
When I first got here, you did.
But
and then Jerry changed.
Then Jerry changed the world for me. I found my soulmate. You already had yours, and that's one of the things that is so cool about it is when you've got someone that you've seen how that really works. You know when you see it and feel it how it is for you, and that's what happened with us. Even though you set me up, Shirley Ann, told me, kept asking me when I went bowling. I didn't care when do I go bowling. I show up bowling alley on a Saturday morning, I'm the only one there, and she's in the lane next to me. Everybody was in on it except me. But that's the way this group works. Alice started out as the baby of City Hall. She ended up being the mama of City Hall. Everybody came to her for advice, including me. And again, sometimes I took it, sometimes I didn't. But the thing that Alice did, which was great, is she sometimes would just listen, and wouldn't try to fix it. And that was great. Maybe not with you guys, but she didn't try to fix it with me. She would just listen. And all of y'all were there when we had our beautiful children. And so it was just a wonderful experience. So this is a tremendous honor. It's well deserved. I'm proud of you for everything that you accomplished. Still consider you and Gary very close friends, and wish you the very best in everything. That's it.